Hi, I'm Estelle.
Hi, and I'm Debbie.
So why did you want to support my PhD research?
Well, I found the topic of your PhD research really fascinating. I visited the Galapagos. As a biologist, Darwin is a key figure in my thinking, so it was a big attraction to visit the Galapagos and see everything that goes on there, and to appreciate everything that goes on there. And then in my career, I've supervised a lot of PhD students myself, but also been very passionate about training researchers, the next generation of researchers do fascinating things. So when I read about your project, I thought, I want to know more about that. And Estelle looks just the person to do this project, so I'm keen to support it.
Thank you.
How has the PhD funding made a difference to you?
Well, it's made a huge difference in my daily life, for a start. The beginning of the PhD during COVID was quite challenging and a lot of a bumpy road in terms of funding, but it's really changed my life. And then having the support of donors like yourself who are so experienced in academia, it just means a lot to me, because it means there is like trust and support in my project, and that is really something very important and rewarding.
Well, thank you for that. Having heard an up-to-date report on your project today, congratulations on what you've achieved, but particularly during the COVID pandemic, when it's been so difficult, particularly when you're working on a project that's how many thousands of miles away?
4,000? Too many.
Too many, absolutely.
Thanks. What difference do you hope to make with your support?
Well, I suppose there's a couple of aspects to that, really. One is to support you as a person. As I said, I'm passionate about training the next generation of researchers and passing on. You know, when you get to my age, you're keen to see science develop, and you're keen to see the next generation coming through and doing fantastic things and making the most of the opportunities they have. So that was part of it, but also partly to fund this particular area of research, which really tweaked my interest. I see a lot of research projects, but this is an unusual project, and your background in archaeology, I think, coming to a project like this is a really fascinating combination of skills and talent. So I was fascinated to see what you'd find in your project. So Estelle, getting towards the end of your PhD, not too long to go now, what next? What are the plans for the future?
I have a lot of ideas.
That's great.
It will always depend on opportunities and funding, of course, but if I decide to stay in academia, which is one of the areas I'd like to investigate a bit more, Galapagos, potentially whaling practices in the 18th century, not academia. I would like to get a bit more involved in policy making, because my PhD was really much designed around having this policy impact, but I'd like to see how it is doing like policy research, and how it is to actually get those briefings and share this kind of knowledge as well.
Well, clearly you're going to be an international scholar, but this possibility of impacting policy in such a critical area for the globe, I think, is a really exciting thing to be looking forward to.
And always good to have several options.
Always good to have separate options, and you never know where those options will lead you.
Exactly. So if you were talking to someone who didn't know anything about philanthropy at York, what would you do? What would you tell them?
Well, I'd probably tell them that philanthropy at York is something that's grown over the last few years, and there's a really important opportunity on the first principle to really bring in support for all sorts of projects across the university. But I think more excitingly than the money side of things is the opportunity to engage a wide group of people with what the university does in its teaching, in its research, in its reaching out to its local community, the national, the international community, and really trying to make a difference in the world. And I think that's what a lot of people at York are really interested in, and philanthropy is a critical part of that process. And I can tell you, you know, being involved in philanthropy is a very exciting option, to be involved and to know what's happening.
Yeah, it's a way to remain in contact, but also get out of your comfort zone, I guess.
Absolutely, to think differently.
Yeah.
To think differently. So So I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing your thesis when it's produced.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and it was lovely to meet you finally in
Indeed,
person.
indeed,
and,
indeed.
Having so much support, yeah, in person, and such great exchanges as well from different fields. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.